everyone. Happy Friday night. It's Michelle with Friday Night Paint Therapy. Say hello when you come on. I'm going to try to pull myself up. I'm using a new listening device here, so please let me know if you can't hear or can't see or any of those good things. There I am. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. I have to tell you, I have just spent the last 15 minutes. Do you want to know what the hardest part about these lives is for me? 15 minutes trying, and I still don't know if this is going to work, but trying to get my project and my head when I stand back there in the frame at the same time. Oi. Hi guys, can you guys hear me okay? I have such a fun project planned for tonight. I don't know if you're going to be able to see me while I'm doing it. Let's see. Yeah, see? I really don't want to sit down, but this is it. So anyways, I have this old bench. And this old crusty bench, it's got stains on it. It's got, it's from a barn, from a friend. She gave it to me, and I have been looking at this awesome picture. I don't know if you guys follow Iron Orchid Designs, but they have this great project, and we've really only seen sneak peeks of it. I don't even know how to use my stand here. This is probably painful for those of you that do. Anyways, using the Painterly Roses stamp, and so I am going to try to recreate that. Hopefully you saw it in my pictures when I posted the promos for this. You can hear me great. Okay, I'm wondering, I tried my little microphone thing the other day, but it didn't sound any different to me, so I'm not sure if it was actually paired. All right, so here's what you guys are going to need for this project. We are going to start with vintage linen. It's going to get a nice base coat of vintage linen, using DIY paints, of course. We are going to use petticoat pink. We're going to use some kissing booth, and then we're going to also use some fancy farm girl. I am using the IOD stamp called Painterly Roses, new in the package, so I'll show you how to condition your stamps and how to make the patterns. We're going to kind of start from fresh. And then I have some brayers that I'm going to be applying the paint with. So that's all you need. All right, we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to start painting with my vintage linen, which I've put in a cup here. So I want to hear what everybody's up to. Is everybody's weather getting better? You guys doing anything fun? My peony finally came out this week. I'm so excited. Everything here in New Hampshire is a good month late, maybe 3 weeks late. So finally I got my peony, so I'm very excited. It's been raining and kind of yucky, but that's helped them come up. All right, so I didn't tell you because it really did take me about 15 minutes to try to get my camera set up. I cleaned this bench, and I also have a couple coats of shellac on it because I think you can see from even this far away these dark stains. I don't know if it's oil, I don't know what it is, but a shellac will help with bleed through and also help with hopefully it'll stop any of that stuff from coming up because I'm painting white. You don't need it for adhesion or anything like that. This paint would separate onto that and stick to it great. So I just used it to block these stains, which I think some of them might actually be oil stains. And I'm just kind of glopping this right on. What a difference already, right? Hi Judy, hi Sasha, hi Bobby, and Cheryl. You're working on a bench and a booster seat, homemade. Oh, and you're trying the homemade transfer. So are you doing the old transfer method where you use a medium and then you print on, I think, it has to be an inkjet printer, I think. I've done those before. They're very satisfying, and then you rub the paper off of them when they're dry. It is very satisfying. A little tedious and difficult. I have not had every one of them come out fabulously, but it's a fun skill to have, very crafty. Actually, my daughter once, it was some method similar to that. She put a family picture on a candle, which was really cool. I mean, of course, I'm not going to burn the candle now, but it's on a turquoise candle, and it looks really awesome. And I think there was a similar method. I've never done that myself. All right, you know what? This is like really good. This is really good coverage for one coverage of white. I'm using my my Klingon S50, which I love because it's comfortable in my hand, nice and short, so I don't bang the handle. And it's one of the bigger brushes, so you can load quite a lot of paint onto it. And I'm really just slopping on because this project is it's going to get distressed after. If you haven't seen the picture that I've posted of the you know, what I'm going for, my inspiration picture, I encourage you to look for that because it's just a really cool project. And I think I'm going to try my best to nail it and to put my own spin on it, of course, like any inspiration picture. So you're using a medium, oh, you're making the decal. So you have a, are they called crickets or circuits? Crickets, I think they're called crickets. You know what, I've never used one of those machines because I'm not very technically savvy, and they look like you have to troubleshoot a lot to make it work. I would lose my patience. I would just lose my patience. All right, I'm gonna come around and you guys even see, I may as well just do the front lip. I'll do the rest of the bench, legs and everything later when I'm not here. God forbid I try to get the whole bottom of the bench and my face at the same time. That'll never work. I have my bar card to show you guys too. So if you watched a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you have been following, I don't know, I think it needs its own like saga. This bar cart has been such a headache. But I think I finally have it the way I want it. I've got the bottom part epoxied and the top part I've got a pour drying. That noise is, this is sitting on top of upside down sap buckets. I feel like I want that on a little thicker, even though I know this is going to be sanded back. I still don't want it to be opaque and see-through. You're driving to Tallahassee and you're watching this on your road trip. That's cool. Hopefully you're not the driver. I really hope you're not the driver, Sasha. I know you're not. I know you're not. All right, I'm gonna grab my heat gun. So this will be new. This is much closer than my phone. So if this is actually working, I'm hoping this isn't too loud. So I came on so flustered I didn't tell you who I am or where I'm from. I know some of you know, some of you nice familiar faces. Good, I'm glad you're not driving. I'm Michelle from Serendipity House, and I'm in New Hampshire. I've been a DIY retailer for about a year and a half. And I also carry the whole IOD line. So if there's anything, if you want to try this project that we're doing tonight at home, you can get all of these things on my website, serendipity.house. And if you're in New Hampshire, Vermont, or Mass, because I'm like right on the border, I would love to see you. My shop is in Peterborough in Depot Square at Bowerbird and Friends. How's the noise on this since coming close here? This paint really does dry fast, but the weather is, well, I'm trying to speed it up anyways for doing this, but also it has been so humid that the things in my workshop are just not drying as quickly as they normally do. So I've got like literally like 10 different projects going, and I'll just do something on all of them and then leave them overnight and come back and pick it up where I left off. Nobody's got time to wait for paint to dry, right? Hi Stephanie, welcome. I'm glad you stopped to watch. We have every day there's 2 or 3 of the DIY retailers on this page that go live and do some projects with our paint. And I'm every other Friday night, and so everybody's got a regular time slot. So I'm glad you happened on by. Welcome. There just needs to be more hours in the day to see all of these projects. I've only been able to catch like 2 or 3 a week. I don't have a lot of time to sit down and watch everything all the way through. So I've got everything saved and pinned and ready to watch. And if you ever want to go back and watch any of them, on this page, in the video section, you can go find all the videos that were made. They'll be titled so you can kind of get an idea of what the project is going to be. And everybody's got their own thing, which is what makes it so much fun. Is you could take the the same products and give them to 10 people, and you'll get 10 different ways to use it. All right, that's not totally dry, but I'm going to say that's dry enough to give it another coat of the linen. I'm trying to hurry up and get to the fun part, which is doing the stamps, because I actually have not used this particular set before. There's just so many sets of stamps and not enough hours in the day, you know? All right, that's going to go down there. And let's see, I'm just going to do this part. I'm going to just kind of randomly, I'm going for texture. It is going to be sanded off, so I'm just going to, even the nail heads are sticking up. This is like a handmade bench. I'm going to try not to get my sweater in it. Anywhere where I can see like some of the brush marks, I'm just gonna go over that. This is gonna be layered, so this is the kind of project where when you're looking at it, you're thinking, oh no, what am I doing? And then it all kind of comes together. It probably does, it's a little patchy right now, but that's cool. That's cool. Hopefully the heat gun wasn't bad, because I'm going to hit it with a heat gun again, and then we'll be ready to start stamping. So Patty says she's working on a coat chest, an old shippy cabinet, and a metal rolling cart. So do you work like I do with multiple things? Actually, I don't know how anybody can get anything done if you don't work like that, honestly. Like if I had to, spend the half an hour that it takes to do something and then wait for it to dry. Of course, it's always chaos, but it's like organized chaos, That's a good thing, organized chaos. So this old, hi Deb, how are you? This old barn bench came from a friend's house, somebody that I have known since I was 10, maybe even 8. I'm a little older than that now. But we just kind of reconnected. She's an old childhood friend, and she's cleaning out for her house, her childhood house down the road, and she called me, and it's really weird. She's like, oh, I've been watching, I've seen you, I've watched you on Facebook. Which is crazy, like I do this, but it's weird when local people, because I don't know who's watching, And anyways, we reconnected after a few decades of not seeing each other. And I don't know if you have, I'm sure everybody has one of those childhood friends that have known you since forever. And of course, when you get together, it's like it's like just yesterday you saw them. And she's the one friend that every time I hear Meatloaf, well, especially Paradise by the Dashboard Light, but the whole Bad Outta Hell album, which dates me because that was probably 1978. Every time I hear that, I just think of her, because these were in the days when we had like the tape recorders that had a plug-in little microphone, and we would be like just singing along to Paradise by the Dashboard Light, taking turns with who gets to be the man and the woman singer. I remember that there were no words that came with anything. And we had the cassettes, I think, then. And so we would write down the lyrics, like slow the song down and write down the lyrics. I'm sure some of y'all did the same things, but it's just really fun to reconnect with somebody and have those memories brought back up. Somebody who you know from your childhood and not your adult life. It's before you kind of invented yourself or whatever. It's just cool. Her name is Buffy, so this is the Buffy bench. Shout out to Buffy. DIY Friday. Hi, Sandy. You have a bench you want to, if this comes out good, I'm going to be finding a whole bunch of benches. The part that I won't be able to do tonight on camera is going to be the distressing in the ceiling part, which I think is going to bring it all together when it's done. But the paint is really going to need to be dry before I can sand it. Otherwise the colors will bleed into each other. I'm actually debating whether or not I should put a coat of Big Top on this right now before I stamp to help it not, help the colors not bleed through. But I'm thinking if I wait a few days before I sand it, it should be all right. What do you guys think? Deb, Cheryl, you guys who are, you know all the words to everything Meatloaf, so do I, every single one. I've got my 18-year-old daughter in the car, and something reminded me once of that song. You took the words right out of my mouth, and the beginning of it is just that really weird, I'm not Kristen, so I am so not going to sing to you. But it's just the really weird lyrics of them talking, and my daughter was like looking at me like, I don't know what she thought I was doing, but she had no clue. So finally I pulled the song up, and she's like, oh, that's what you're doing. Yeah, you think so, Deb? I think I've been thinking about this for a couple of days. I don't want the colors to mingle, so I think I am going to put a coat of Big Top, and then we'll dry it with the heat gun. Doesn't take too long, and then get to the fun part. So if I wasn't, I try to always think of this, if I wasn't doing a video tutorial that I wanted to have done in a quick amount of time, would I be doing this? Yes, I would be. So I want to show you guys the right way to do it instead of doing it fast. Although you know I'm all about making mistakes and learning from them. So, all right, so I'm applying the Big Top now, and the reason why I am applying the Big Top is because I am going to be stamping with a Painterly Roses stamp. Now, that is going to be layered because it's like a 3-piece stamp. So it's going to be pretty thick. This is not dried all the way, it's picking up paint, which is okay. Darn, I keep interrupting myself. Yes, so then after all the paint is dried, I'm going to be sanding it because this project ends up being like a distressed, weathered, kind of country vibe look. And I don't want my pinks to bleed into my white while I'm doing that sanding, and that is why I'm applying the Big Top in between. Okay, hope that makes sense. The only way I remember things if I'm definitely that kid who was why? And because I said so really was not an answer that made sense to me. I don't care. That doesn't help me understand it, right? Let me just get this. All right. All right. Voila. All right. Now, I keep saying all right, all right, all right. Oh, and I can see a little bit of the bleed over here, which is okay because it's going to be layered, but if I hadn't shellacked that, I think that would be really bad. Okay, so I want to show you, I'm so hesitant to turn the camera, but I want to show you how to do all this. So I'm going to angle the camera over here a little bit, and hopefully I can get it back to where I need to. I'm just moving the angle, okay. I know we're kind of far away, but if I move it more than this, I may never get back. I may never get back on. All right, so this is Painterly Roses by Iron Orchid Designs. It's one of their decor stamps. I carry this at Serendipity.house. A lot of the DIY retailers are also IOD retailers, so you might have somebody nearby. It's only sold by small shops, just like the DIY paint. And I'm looking for the opening. Here it is. Now, when you get this and you take it out of the package, there's just the wrap. I'm trying so hard not to walk into this wet paint here. All right, so it comes on. The stamps are between two sheets. If you pull it apart, it comes off fairly easily. Save this because you could use this for something else, okay? I might actually use it tonight. All right, and then you have your stamps on the backer sheet. So the first thing that you have to do is condition your stamp. And I know this isn't an ideal viewpoint, but all that means is you take your sanding block. I have a piece of sandpaper wrapped around my block. And you just rub across the stamps gently. And it just kind of helps it take the paint a little better. It gets off the whatever from the factory. All right, that's it. Okay, so next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that aside and I'm gonna pour my paint out. And then I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna actually be taking these off and putting them on some acetate to make them easier to use. So basically all I have here is, I just use plates to throw away. You can use, you could use like saran wrap or something, or a piece of acrylic. I just have a plate and brayers. You probably would only have one brayer. I've got three because I've got them open for workshops. If you had just one, then you would we're really just gonna do one color at a time here anyway, so one brayer is fine. You could use a foam brush. Oh, hey, I don't want to open these. I got these to show you, but I have ones that are already opened. Okay. So here I'm just going to pour a little out on a plate. You don't need much green. That's going to be for the leaves. And I've got, now I need 3 paint colors, so my thought was that I am going to mix a little bit of the Kissing Booth with some vintage linen to make a color that's kind of in between the other two. So that's my Kissing Booth. And then I need my Petticoat Pink. Now the way I've seen this done, and I'm going to go ahead and follow suit, is to layer the, where's my vintage linen, is to layer the lightest colors on the bottom and then go up and go darker. So this is the one I'm going to mix, custom color here. So this is vintage linen. Well, I accidentally picked the biggest one instead of the small one, but. So I have the Petticoat Pink. I think I'm gonna make this a tad lighter. And this will end up getting saved in a little jar because I over poured it. I'm really bad at doing that. I have got to get the FIFO bottles so that I can just measure out what I need and not waste my paint. You don't have Big Top. Can you use Mod Podge to keep your colors? I think that should work, or You know, since Mod Podge is kind of like glue, I think that a different top coat would be better than using a Mod Podge. That's just my opinion, so that you have an actual top coat. And all paints are not going to do that mingle thing, you know, that running into each other. Our paint is, because it's very porous, and it's clay, and it's got the high pigmentation, and it's gonna run if you. Oh, I have 4 colors. Do I have another rare open? I do not, but that's so. I'll just wash one off. Okay, let's dry this, and then we'll actually. I'm going to show you this part, and then we'll dry it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, there's different stamps on here that I'm going to use. They're layer in 3s. So basically, it's going to be, the first layer is going to go on, and then we're going to layer a couple more over it. And in order to make this easier on myself, what my plan was, is I may as well just rub my sweater in this and get it over with here. I knew I had this out. So I have one of the stiffer acetate sheets, and I am going to make some strips out of it. So these are just nice stiff sheets that should cut easily with your scissors. And wait till you see how easy this makes what I'm going to do. Now, some of the stamps I leave right on the backers. Yes, Patty, good point. I think Patty's saying to Raina that if you don't have big top, we all do. You're on the DIY page, lots of big top, lots of retailers here. Easy to find. All right, so here's how I'm going to do this. I am going to put my stamp right on there. So after I go ahead, I've got like after I put the paint on, it's going to be like my handle. All right, I'm going to make a few of those up right now, and then I'm going to dry my paint, and we're going to stamp, and I'm going to try to get the camera right down on top of there for you. You know, thank you that you love to watch me work. I feel like you can't see much now. I don't know what the answer is to, honestly, to being able to see everything at once. I really struggle with that. And you know what it is? It's because we're going the long way. All right. So I'm just going to get 2 sets of these ready. Because meanwhile, in the meantime, my big top's drying all by itself. So, all right, so these should stick right onto these papers, acetate sheets rather. You know, sometimes I always go back and watch my videos because I'm trying to, you know, make them better, improve, see what I need to do better. I know the whole camera thing's an issue, but sometimes I say something and I don't remember saying it, it's not what I meant to say, and often it's the opposite of what I meant to say. So please feel free to jump in if I say something really bizarre. I think I just get in the zone. All right, and then my third. All right. I think I've got enough of those set up right there. All right, so let's dry this and then start the fun part. Not that this hasn't been fun, but getting some bright color on this is going to be the best part. So if you're just coming on, say where you're watching from. I find it very, it's really kind of cool to go back and see, oh, there we go, Catherine from Australia. Hi, I love it. It's the internet is an amazing thing, isn't it? It's just weird to think that somebody's on another continent watching you and playing with the same paints. Thank you for posting my website, Cheryl. Serendipity.house is my website. Yep, that's hot. Yeah, this is just, I would say normally this would be dry if it wasn't this weird weather. Plus I may have slopped it on a little thick. Brisbane. There's a paint company in Brisbane that I used to use. Some very nice people. I've never been there. I would love to. I just need to travel. I do really well on those little Facebook quizzes, you know, where it's like, check off where you've been in the United States. I've hit most of the United States other than like the Northwest. I haven't been to some of those states, but the other ones I hit pretty well. And then Canada and Mexico, and that's about it. I need to be more worldly, I think. And that was when you could get into Canada and Mexico right over the border, go to Tijuana, have some fun for the day, and then walk back over. Still wet. I don't know why I did that. I did that in my paint pour the other day too. Not even gently, I just like put my hand right in there. It was wet. Kind of a duh kind of moment, you know? The last couple of years you've been watching just blowing me away. That you've been watching, what now? I can't backtrack on that. That you've been watching the videos on the internet. Jennifer, I can give you a quote to ship internationally. We don't have any retailers outside of the United States that I am aware of, but some of us do ship internationally. I can tell you from having shipped to Canada and quoting somebody, well, I can tell you because I used to order paint from Australia that the duties and the shipping fees are really high. I mean, I think even within the United States, I feel bad sometimes what the shipping costs, and it's just, it's not us, it's the Postal Service. But I would be happy to give you a quote, and if it's something I can't do, some of the other retailers on here can pop up and holler. I don't know why we don't have anybody internationally. I think the world should be painting with DIY paint. It's an amazing paint. And I've tried them all, and this is the one that I choose. It's my favorite. That looks wet, and I'm not going to stick my hand back in it. You can tell because it's just got a different sheen than the rest of it. And I really don't want this to pick up when I stamp. It's kind of the hard part about being rushed and trying to do things on a timeline here. Now you got to be careful with your heat gun to keep it moving, or it will bubble your paint. I've had that happen at some workshops. I've had it happen to myself when I've done this on something and turned around and lost my attention. It will melt your paint right off. As a matter of fact, some people use heat guns to remove and scrape paint off. So just keep that in mind. Always keep it moving or you're going to remove your paint. Alright. I'm going to hope for the best here. Yeah, you just caught me thinking about my press gun, not moving my heat gun. Okay. The packages, Patty, they go by weight and by size. So, yeah, there's a point where if you're going to order and you're going to be paying a minimum amount anyways, you may as well get a big box. I would agree. That's at least how I order things in the United States. Okay. I have nowhere really fabulous to put this down. I'm going to put it behind me, so All right, so I'm going to start with my darkest color, no, my lightest color. My lightest color. So when you get these stamps, you'll see that, so these three are going to kind of go together, I think. And you've got a piece that's kind of a background with not a lot of pattern on it. One that goes over it with a little more pattern, and then a smaller one with some pattern. And they're just going to layer. All right, well, I'm thinking I hope I make the right decision here. So you just want to get the paint even on your brayer. It's hard, there we go, it's not rolling when it first goes on. And you're going to roll your paint right onto. All right, now, I'm not, tell me if you can't see really well. You can't hear me. Can you hear me better now with the dryer off? Yeah, Catherine, you've gotten your paint from Jamie Ray. Shipping is crazy. None of us make money on shipping. So look, you just drop this on and you press. Yeah, none of us make money on shipping. It's the actual rates, and it is crazy. I agree. I don't know what else to say about that. Wow, that is very light. I don't know what else to say about that except that, you know, I hope people realize that it's just what the shipping companies charge. So could somebody else weigh in on it being hard to hear me? Donna's having a hard time hearing me. Is anybody else having a hard time hearing me? All right, so I am just hitting these with paint. This is so light you can't really see it against the white, but I think once I get the layers over it, it'll be okay. Just being random here. Okay, so part two. So now I'm going to use the next lightest color, or the next darker. Yeah, better without the dryer off. I thought so. I can't really do much about the dryer. Where's my next layer? Was it this one? No, I think it's this one. Now you can leave these on the backing sheets and just cut around them. I thought this would be a little easier. All right, now I'm going into this pink that I made, which is a mixture. It's hard to get your brayer to roll on the first. It's got nothing to grab onto on the paper plate. If you get a little bit on your acetate sheet, you can just wipe that off so you don't accidentally. And then these just go randomly on right over it. So you're building. Can you see that? Your volume is all the way up, but nobody can hear me. Wait. If I speak up, I feel like I'm yelling. Okay, I'll try. I've even got my air conditioner down really low. I'm wondering if this, actually, can you hear this? I'm wondering if this is actually working. Couldn't hear that. Okay. Well, thank you. Because it's not very comfortable. Huh. It's on. The volume is up. I don't understand, so it must be connected to my phone still. I'm sorry, that's something else I'll have to work on. I thought that my microphone would help, and it is paired. So, pick up a little more paint on there. All right, put that aside, and let's see, I've got my third one. So this is the smallest one. And I'm just going to keep mixing. Something about this, I don't know if the plate's so slippery that it's just not rolling or what. I want that darker. All right, it seems like it's different devices. I'm really sorry, you guys. I will work on getting myself a microphone that is working. I know that will be helpful. I know that it's not just me. I got a little messy with that. Now remember, you're going to be sanding all this back after too, so it's okay if this is very textural, and because your end product is going to be nice and textured. Missed one. All right, now I'll be adding more. I know this looks a little kind of oddly random here, but I'm going to do some leaves now. So there's all different leaves on here, and there's branches, and so I am going to do some leaves with my Fancy Farm Girl. That's next. See, this one's rolling fine. I wonder if that other one just wasn't cleaned enough. You don't want to drop anything. All right. So I'm just going to kind of random keep adding to this. Well, that is very pretty. Can you see that green? Yes, you know what, the IOD sisters, they are awesome. Josie and Sally are wonderful people to work with, and their products just keep getting better and better. I love playing with all of the products and the designs, and they work really well with DIY paint. I don't want this to be like too patterny. So you can, but you don't want all of these to really have the same depth or the same amount of paint, so you can actually just keep using the same stamp. I want to at least go in the same direction. All right, so I got that. Let's see. This definitely is going to need a backer here, this long piece. And you know what else I'm going to add these into? I grabbed a dragonfly from my Birds, Blossoms, and Branches one, because I just love the dragonfly. So that's going to get added in here. I wish I remembered my bumblebee from my Queen Bee stamp, but I didn't. But that would be another great one to add to this. I know it's really, okay, so the best way to do this is not the way I just did it, but to do it on a flat surface, because I just got this all over my acetate sheet, which is okay, except you end up just getting yourself messy, and sometimes your project paint lands where you don't want it to, so you just wipe it off. All right, so hopefully that does not look too weird from that side since I'm doing it upside down. Have any of you used this particular stamp before? I haven't seen it used a whole lot. I think it's when several came out at once, and everything I've seen with it has been absolutely beautiful, but I think it needs a tutorial. I'm trying to walk and talk and chew gum at the same time here. It's not going too well. Obviously something's going to need to go here in my workspace. And then the other little one that I wanted to try is this rose here, which is like a closed bud. And so I think that outside is green, and then the inside I might do in the bright color. Inside of it, and there's the outside. So I'm so messy, it's frustrating. Thank you. I think I'm going to fill it up quite a bit after wondering if I'm doing this backwards. I'm going to keep adding to it after we're done here, and then if you want to see the finished project, and I would love it if you hopped over to my page and followed me. I do a lot of tutorials using DIY and IOD. Oh, that one is pretty awesome. And I will be finishing this project, sanding it and posting it probably Monday or Tuesday, because I'm working all weekend in the shop. So let's see. So I won't be able to get back to it. We're going to be, look at this, don't do that. Jeez, it's like doing art with a 5-year-old. I am also, just to let you know, to take care of these stamps, I'll be dropping these into the sink with some tepid water. You don't want to use hot water, because if you do, it will bend and melt your stamps. All right, I'm gonna do a dragonfly. What color should my dragonfly be? My dragonfly should be black. I have a little black dress here. Let's just see. Well, it could have been black, but now it's pink and black, because that's what's on my brush. Drop it and gently touch it. Be careful it doesn't wiggle. Oh, that's so pretty. All right, I'm going to show you guys a little closer up. All right. So can you see like the three? I'm sorry, I can't see. Okay, I've got the 3 layers of the stamp. You can see the lightest to the darkest there. And this part is pretty cool. And so if you haven't seen what the finished project looks like, Sally and Josie's version, not mine. I haven't finished one of these yet, so I'm using theirs. But if you haven't seen it, then hop on over to the Iron Orchid Designs page, or I posted on here and on my page their version of kind of what I was going for with my own twist. So it's really cool. I'll be sanding this and sealing it on Monday or Tuesday, so follow me over on Serendipity House LLC. You can find any of these products that I used on serendipity.house, which is my website. If you have any questions, drop them here. Hi, Michelle. Or yeah, drop them here or drop them over on my page. I keep forgetting I'm not on my page because Debbie's kind enough to let us all do our lives on our show. So this is season 1, episode 2, having nothing to do with episode the last one. Oh, but that reminds me, in case you watched the last one, my bar cart. I want to show you. I just have to show you this. If I get lifted up enough, this reminds me of Debbie's videos where she's lifting stuff. Okay, so I did a second pour because it all cracked and it needs to get epoxy on it. It doesn't have epoxy yet, but check this out. If I can lift it over my head. I'm channeling you, Debbie. The bottom has a pour. I have to put this down. The bottom has a pour and it has epoxy on it already, and it looks super pretty. Now, you know, we're not counting. I did the top twice and the bottom twice before I got it right, but I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So, yeah. The link to my website is, I'll drop it in here after. Cheryl already did. It's www.serendipity.house. All right, you guys, have a great night. Head on over to my page, Serendipity House, to see how this awesome barn bench, the Buffy bench, turns out. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.